Due to your absence, you're missing the entire Mass and Change lab. What I'm going to do now is run through every station or every part. There are 6 parts in all. You can follow along on your Moodle Mass and Change Lab document. We're going to start with part 2 because it takes the longest to do. We need a vial and a lid and a piece of ice. We're going to place the ice in the vial and place the lid on it and take an initial mass. Please record the mass. It is 1.29 grams. Now we're going to set that aside until later when we need it again. We are waiting for the ice to melt because we want to see if mass changes when matter undergoes a physical change called melting. Let's take a look at the first station. We have a piece of steel wool in a weigh boat. We're not interested in the weigh boat, so we're going to place it on the balance and measure the mass of it. Now normally you would have to subtract it, but we can zero out the mass and place the steel wool on it. When we do this, we get 0.8 grams. Please record that in part 1 of your data table. The directions tell us to pull apart the steel wool so that it's about twice the size it initially was. I'm going a little bit more. And then we're supposed to mass it again. As you can see, the mass does not change. We still have 0.8 grams. Please record that and calculate your change in mass for part 1. In part 3, we are taking 2 liquids. We are taking sodium carbonate, and we're going to put 2 pipettefuls of that in 1 beaker. Next, we're going to take calcium nitrate, and we're going to put 2 pipettefuls in a second beaker. We're going to zero out our balance and place both beakers on the balance and get the mass. Please record 10.4 grams for your initial mass. Now we're going to pour 1 beaker into the other. Notice we get a solid, we call that a precipitate, and record the mass, 10.4 grams. So a chemical transformation, which we just witnessed because we went from 2 clear liquids to 1 cloudy liquid, does not change mass. Make sure you record these results in your data table for part 3. This cannot go down the drain because it's a precipitate, so we pour it in a waste beaker. Cleanup means that you rinse out your glassware 3 times. Now for part 4, we're going to use an evaporating dish with another piece of steel wool. This time we're going to burn it and see what happens to mass when matter gets heated. Let me correct myself, we're not burning it, we're going to heat it in the fire. Here's the initial mass of the entire system. Please record 36.1 grams. I'm going to light the Bunsen burner. I don't think you can see it. Here we go. Now, we're going to heat this steel in the Bunsen burner, and notice it glows and it's sparking. I'm trying to collect the sparks in the evaporating dish. There's definitely a heated metal odor in the air, and we definitely have a color change. If we compare the color, this is more silver and this is more of a bluish hue. We're going to let that cool down a few minutes. While we do that, we're going to complete part 5. Part 5 asks us to measure out a little bit of sugar and put it in the cap of a vial. So here I've got some sugar and I'm placing it in the cap of a vial. We're going to fill the vial halfway up with water. So we're roughly about half. And we're going to weigh the entire system on the balance. Please record 34.4 grams. Now, we're going to pour the sugar in and swirl. And we're going to continue that for a few minutes. Just to make sure everything dissolved. And then we're going to put it back on the balance. And you'll notice that our mass is 34.3. Please record that and calculate the difference. Our steel wool should have cooled down enough now. So let's weigh that and record it. The mass is 36.2. This is for part 4. Please make sure you record that mass and calculate the difference. The last step that we're going to do is part 6. We need a vial again with a piece of Alka-Seltzer. So we have a vial. We're going to fill it about halfway up with water. Halfway with water. And I have a piece of Alka-Seltzer here, a little chip. It goes on the cap, and we weigh the system together. Please record 43.0 grams. For your before. Now we're going to place the Alka-Seltzer tablet inside. Note that we're definitely getting a gas produced. Because of pressure buildup, we're going to quickly take the mass again. Please record 43.0 grams and calculate your mass difference. Now, you'll need to get your class data from a classmate for our histograms of each part. We collected statistical data so we can analyze it this week. You will be missing the whiteboarding session. There are no point penalties for that. However, you are required to have all of this data and your observations written in your data table. The last thing that you need to do is draw a before, during, and after storyboard for every single step, all 6 parts. Have that prepared for Tuesday when you return. You will get the histogram data from a classmate upon your return as well.